We're just pulling out of Royal Queensland now. Forecast is up to about 15 today. This is my crewman James. Yeah, hi, thanks for tuning in. This is a trip I just completed from Brisbane to Port Douglas on my client's 50-foot Riviera sports motor yacht. This is passing Double Island Point. So the first day was up to Yarangan Harbour. So this is Y Bay Bar here. The bar wasn't too bad. Coast Guard Tin Can Bay, this is Cosmos.
Romeo, then I will put you on our log and...
It's always good to call up the Tin Can Bay Coast Guard and just let them know you're coming through, and to call them once you're through the other side. Conditions were pretty good. We had about 15 to 20 of east. There was about a metre of east swell for the bar, but you catch it on that last couple of hours of the incoming tide. And up the Sandy Straits and then into Yarangan Boat Harbour here. That's Andrew Chorley there. He'd just been out fishing. He's the best guide up there, fishing guide, if you guys are ever interested. I think it's called Harvey Bay Sport Fishing. So yeah, at the end of each day we have to fuel up again. I'd guessed about 1,500 litres. What's that, about a 130 mile run? Oh, I was right, 1,500 litres. Anyway, the next morning was an early start because I wanted to maximise our time at Lady Musgrave. So all the usual top-ups and engine checks. Well, good morning from Yarangan. Today we're heading up to Lady Musgrave. I might even drag a lure over some of the grounds just before there, see if we can catch a tuna or something. Yeah, but we'll just spend the night there, and then tomorrow we're going to run into Roslyn Bay for our next fuel and overnight. Yeah, so while James was squaring away inside, getting the boat ready for sea, I thought it was a good opportunity to have a bit of fun with this new joystick operation. It really has been one of the great innovations of recent times in boating. Just means, you know, I can manoeuvre this boat in and out of a berth on my own using the joystick here in the cockpit. So you can see here I'm just going sideways a bit, and then I'll move forward out of the berth. Just do it nice and gently. So no bow thruster required, and so far even in 20 knots I've managed to hold the bow into the wind. And that button I just pushed there is the position hold, so that will literally hold me there in that position using GPS, which means I can go around, pull all the fenders and mooring lines in. So yeah, someone who's used to using gears and thrusters, it certainly has simplified it, and I can see why Riviera have embraced it. I mean, a lot of the people moving into a boat like this haven't ever operated a large boat, so it certainly has simplified it. It's a great thrill being able to operate boats like this. One of the other amazing things about this boat is its most efficient speed is 24 knots. So talk about a rocket ship up the Queensland coast. So much fun. We've on our way to Lady Musgrave, and there's just this patch that I like to troll over. This time last year we got 2 yellowfins with 1 pass over at the same time of year. So see if we can catch James a fish. Old faithful Halco laser pro. Yeah, so James is a farmer. He has a big farm out near Gundawindi, North Star, and our kids became friends at school. Get a big Spanish mackerel here too.
I will get one.
Alright.
Hey.
You use one of these before?
Yeah.
He came on another trip I did a few years ago with a Palm Beach and loved it. Got one on! I'll pull the boat up. Gone?
It's gone.
Okay. That happens, don't worry. Bring it in, we'll just check the lure. And we'll get another strike. This is just me marvelling at the gyro and how efficient it is at stabilising the boat. That's a game changer. Talk about that later. Still there? Oh, I just taints it. Righto. Big mackerel. Right, where is he? Oh, he's a mackerel, I think. Got him! Got him! Got him! Get my fish! Look out! Coming out, watch the teeth, you stay back. You got him? Hey! How many of those you caught?
My fish.
How many of them have you caught?
That's my first one.
Oh, beautiful Spanish mackerel. Well done, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Not again.
Oh, this is going to be a good one.
A little spotty, was it?
A
little spotty.
He was hard to work the other one.
Yeah, well, I think he's foul hooked that one. Right, well, that'll do us.
I think that's good now.
On with the delivery.
Yes, happy days.
Yes, we don't really do this sort of thing on a delivery trip, but we were driving over those grounds, so I know the owner would be fine with it. Yeah, so not ideal conditions to show James Lady Musgrave. Wish the sun had poked out a bit more, but we're just lucky we got to come into Musgrave because you know, depends on your sort of days and the way you break the trip up. We had a commitment a bit later on in Mackay in a few days, so it sort of meant we could pull up here for a afternoon, which was great. We weren't complaining. And look, my business, Professional Boat Care, manages this boat, so you know, in my mind, part of having the boat delivered to a place is making sure all systems are working, even the fishing gear, but particularly, you know, using the dinghy, etc. So it's good just to give everything some use before we get up there, so when the owner arrives it's all ready to roll. Having a walk.
Amazing. Going into the forest.
Into the forest. Should be nesting birds in there. So here's a photo of me on my way to Lady Musgrave. That would have been 1966. So I've been coming up here for a long, long time. Love the place, and it's such a thrill to be able to show people what a beautiful island it is. The bottom of the Great Barrier Reef, the most southern point this is. Absolutely beautiful. Even when a rain squall comes through. Yeah, so this time of year you haven't got the nesting shearwaters and noddies, but so it's a bit quieter, less likely to have a bird poo land on your head as you walk along these tracks. So it was good to see it all anyway.
Lady Musgrave.
Instant moment done. So yeah, lots of turtles around at the moment. I think the main turtle nesting season's maybe more around the end of the year. Anyway, lovely afternoon in the lagoon. And then an early start again. Just a quick walk through. Tap on James's door to wake up. And quick breakfast, and today we were going to run into Roslyn Bay, which is at Yeppoon, central Queensland. You can't leave too early when you're in a lagoon full of coral bommies, so yeah, just pack all the fishing gear away again and wait for a bit more light. I mean, I do run a track in, of course, but it's just good practice. And to be honest, we weren't in that big a hurry to get away. Wasn't too long a run today. Good opportunity to clean the boat, keep it all looking perfect. That's what we do. Righto, Decky, we ready? Ship shape.
Coffee, boss.
Thank you. Yeah, so those who haven't been to Musgrave, you can see it's got a very narrow entrance, which was actually man-made, I think, during the war, I believe. Provides a fantastic lagoon to anchor in, but of course it can be a little bit intimidating coming in and out of here. So we've got the run-out tide here, as you can see, but it's a good, clear, deep channel. And then James hadn't really seen whales before, so he was pretty blown away by it all. Have a listen to this. They don't always make that big sound when they blow. Of course, you have to observe all the rules and not drive towards them. They really are spectacular, and look, they never grow old. But also, from a skippering point of view, they are a bit of a hazard out there, I've got to say. The numbers are so great now. That's Cape Capricorn, the entrance to the Fitzroy's there, which takes you up to Rockhampton. And then this is the marina at Roslyn Bay, called Keppel Bay Marina. Very shallow entrance on low tide. This is the Freedom Cats that service the Keppel Island with the tourists, and that's Max Allen there. He's been fueling boats for me and my father for, I don't know, 40 years at least. Lovely man.
Oh yes, I'll just switch it on first.
Yeah, thanks Max. Yeah, so fueled up, and then we moved across to our berth. And had a lovely meal with some friends. Coles Run in Yeppoon. And then an early start again because I'm trying to maximise my time at the next destination to show James. So engine room checks, of course, just looking for the obvious signs of anything like a belt that might be wearing or oil leak, or just a good look around, check the fluids. And then we got out of there just after dawn. So this area also has a huge military exercise every couple of years, and we were going to have to drive through that zone today, which was allowed. You're just not allowed to go close to any warships. That log there scares the daylights out of me, and then I turned around and had this whale breach almost under the bow. That's why you have a proper lookout. You never know what's coming your way. Anyway, conditions were quite good. The middle part of this delivery was the best weather. You know, it's hard to get a good weather window over a 7-day period, so we left in 15 to 20s and we'll end it in about 20 to 25s. But there's not much you can do about that, and at least we're heading down sea with it all, so it wasn't too punishing at all. In fact, it was very comfortable. And I rarely had to back the speed off. I think I was back to about 20 knots a couple of times just to look after the boat. But she handled it beautifully, particularly with that gyro, stopping any side roll. But this central Queensland coastline is just magnificent. Everyone heading north, he's heading the wrong way. So our destination this afternoon is one of the must-sees along the Queensland coast, really. It's Middle Percy Island, And it's got the famous A-frame on the beach where everyone leaves their memorabilia of their trip. So I was keen to show James all that. So we anchored up and launched the tender and went ashore. We go in there, you'll be there for an hour. I want to show you up this way first. How is it? Right, isn't it? Queensland coast. Yeah, so there's a little road you take. That's that little building there you can actually rent. I think it was first built there because it's such a bad anchorage. You roll like you wouldn't believe in that anchorage. So it was built for anyone who wanted to come ashore and get away from the rolling boat. And it's got this huge lagoon with a very narrow entrance in, but you can see the tides are enormous here. I think they're like 4-metre tides. And then into the back entrance of the A-frame. I said to James, we better check on my last couple of plaques. There's Skidgy, the little Caribbean I take north. This one was for St. Gero, the Nordhaven that I take away occasionally. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, look. That's our first one, 74. That's one of my sister's plaques, the Crew 88. I had the one below, I did. If anyone can see those ones, I haven't seen them for many years. I just dropped that photo in there. I'd love to know where they're being moved to. Come on, I'll show you this. That's Dad. Oh, no way. Captain Ron, 38 years, so he got to about 43. Yeah, so Dad retired, about 6 years ago now, but did about 43 consecutive years to Cairns, taking both our boats, doing the marlin fishing season. Get our Instagram photo. And there's goats on the island, and in fact, you know, there's an old guy there who sometimes cooks goat curry if you game. And I actually have a goat skin, which I bought off Andy, who was the original leaseholder of the island. Amazing old man. Met him way back in about 88. Breakfast is done. Yeah. Into Mackay. So I mentioned earlier we had a commitment. This was, we had to get into Mackay to meet someone. This boat's actually for sale, so the owner's already purchased the 64, so I'm pretty excited about that. But we had a potential buyer who wanted to look at it in Mackay, so I said it's not too big a detour, and we just turned that into our fuel stop, so just changed the schedule a little bit, but it was great. So I don't often get into Mackay, I must say. I normally go and fuel at Hamilton Island at the end of this day. Yeah, so into Mackay Harbour. Sort of got an outer harbour and then an inner harbour. And they're just building this extra little wall across here to stop some of that weather that came through when they had a cyclone recently. There's a fair bit of wave action coming through into the marina. That'll help significantly. "101 uses for a crock." Hold, the fuel barrels are open. Yeah, so fueled up, inspection completed, and we were on our way. Not a lot of point trying to push through to Townsville and arriving in the dark with the amount of whales and stuff, so we just went to the top of the Whitsundays for tonight. This was sad. These ships, naval ships, were doing a grid pattern search for a chopper that went down, and unfortunately 4 army crew died on. And that's Hayman Island. It's Hook Island. So pretty. Because we had an hour or so before sunset, I suggested we put the tender in again and go ashore, have a little explore and enjoy the view. I also wanted to get some nice sunset shots of the boat, so I managed to achieve that. Absolutely stunning scenery, the Whitsundays, and a good looking boat. These big GT were hanging around in the transom lights at dawn. So it was a quick breakfast, fire up all the systems, and as I said, we're going to make our way through to Townsville today.
Oh yeah, you ready? Okay, all off.
They really are a cool boat. Garmin electronics. Got all the toys. So a little bit of an overview of today's passage. So leaving the top of Hook Island and basically running up inside the Barrier Reef. That's Cape Upstart. That's Cape Bowling Green, that long skinny point. And then there, and then we come in around Cape Cleveland here into Townsville. So once the engines had reached temperature, away we went. That's the top end of Hayman Island, very pretty there. Gorgeous little beach that cuts through the rocks. Okay. Yeah, pretty spectacular in the cockpit. I'd like to get a couple of shots there. Those big engines roaring away. That's Holborn Island. I discovered that a few years ago with my boys on the Skidgy, the little Caribbean. Such a magic little place. Sort of east of Bowen, halfway to the Barrier Reef. Not such a good anchorage, I don't think. Looking in there was Cape Upstart, and that sand spit there is Cape Bowling Green. You can see it extends a long way. So into Townsville and the Breakwater Marina. Again, pretty shallow entrance along there, but enough water for us. You just got to be super careful when you got these IPS drives that you don't touch the bottom. That's the fuel dock. We were kind of plagued by low tide entrances everywhere I went on this trip. Joys of the joystick. That was tight. What you call a snug berth. So next morning, it was probably one of the longer days today, running right through to past Cairns through to Port Douglas. And probably our windiest day of the trip too. I think we're forecast to get 20 to 25. You know, this time of year it's just the trade winds blow for months really. But as I say, we were going down sea and I think we really only had about 20. Rarely looked any more than 20. But what I did do, instead of just running out in the main channel where there's a fair bit of southerly current, the seas tend to stand up a lot more halfway out to the reef there, so I actually did sort of wound our way through all the islands quite close to the coast. Actually made quite a good difference to the sea state anyway. So we snuck around the western side of Magnetic Island there as the sun rose, and as you can see on the chart we're sort of going quite close to Palm Island over there. That's the Palm Island township you can see in close there. And just some of these islands are like a Hollywood movie set, they're just magnificent. Over there on the mainland is Hinchinbrook, with the high peaks disappearing into the clouds. Yeah, these big sort of granite boulders coming out of dense rainforest down onto, you know, white sand beaches. It really is beautiful. This is Badara Island, which has a very upmarket resort. Back up and running since the terrible cyclone Debbie, or Yazi I think it was. That was Dunk Island, it got destroyed by Yazi. In there is Marillion Harbour, where ships go in. It's always a bit of a surprise in amongst the middle of nowhere. And this is Fitzroy Island, which is sort of just before Cairns. That's Cape Grafton, that's what you round as you come around, then head further sort of northwest. Just around the corner is the Yarrabah township, and then right in there in the mist is Cairns. But as I say, we're going past Cairns up to Port Douglas. It's Port Douglas, little headland up ahead. Yeah, we you know, it's not even 20 knots there by the looks of it. And again, the low tide drama, so it just looked way too shallow. I spoke to the marina office and yeah, they advised we're probably best hanging out there for another hour. Just let that tide rise a bit. It was literally the lowest tide of the year, would you believe? So once all the tourist boats started coming back in from the reef, some of them massive, particularly this one, when I saw this one coming I knew we'd be able to sort of slide in behind him. Yeah, but I did hear the next morning that one of the cats that went in when we first arrived touched the bottom and damaged their props.
Well, if it doesn't get any worse than that, I'm 1.5 was the least I got. I think we're in. Could have been in an hour ago.
It didn't get under 1.5.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so nice to be into Crystal Brook Super Yacht Marina. Great facility, Great people who run it. Well done. We did it. So a lovely evening meal, and then we cleaned the boat up in the morning and headed for the airport.
Yeah, I saw him. Crocodile tours with Angus.
So thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, because I've got a couple of good trips coming up over the next couple of months, so I'll do some videos of those too. Flying out of Cairns. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.